What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of
FORNEVERNEWS!
the only news source that provides anything and everything anime and manga related. And we don't bore you. We get into it. Let's do it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. As always, in case you didn't know, 65% of people watching this video right now aren't subscribed, and it would definitely make the world of difference for the show, for the channel in general, if you would hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get all notifications. That way you're always notified when we drop an episode of Forever News. We drop episodes of Forever News Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. EST, and then on the weekends we dabble in a little bit of anime and manga topics and discussions and all of that good stuff. So hopefully that's enough of a sell for you to hit that subscribe button and that bell. And yes, without any further ado, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get to these stories, people. And first on the docket was a really interesting look into what's going down with the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure IP in general, the way it's going right now. Because in case you don't know, up until the latest season, Stone Ocean Part 6, whatever you want to call it, pretty much the part with the baddie Jolene Cujo, ultimately JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has been a Friday thing. It's been a tradition for JoJo's fans. It was JoJo Friday, everybody, celebrating, loving it each and every week throughout the run of each show's, course and whatnot, each show's season and all that jazz. Well, with Part 6, because Netflix now has acquired the rights to JoJo's, essentially they did one massive drop of 12 episodes, and then I'd imagine within the next couple months they're going to be dropping the next set and whatnot. And apparently with what's happening, the way Netflix is releasing it is actually having seemingly a negative impact on the JoJo's IP, which is really unfortunate and a major shame. Right here, courtesy of Jose_Ke, we got a little bit of information on what went down and how it's looking for JoJo's, and it's kind of unfortunate. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm really enjoying the Netflix drops that I just get to straight through marathon, but if it's overall not doing good for the series as a whole, the franchise, I don't know how I feel. Let's take a look. He said, has Netflix really killed the JoJo hype with the batch releases? Well, it seems so. Clearly, the JoJo's Friday did a great job generating interest in the series. While the start was better for Stone Ocean, from then it hasn't gotten the attention other parts have gotten. I think this shows well how the so-called Netflix jail works. The series gets a pretty good week or so of attention and then drops. I think it's a little sad for JoJo in particular when the JoJo's Fridays were a thing and we all had fun and amazing days to share between us. And then he also added, Stone Ocean had a huge interest in it compared to the other parts, yes, which is totally normal because nowadays the fandom is way bigger. But what I wanted to show in the other graphs was the daily, weekly evolution, not the absolute comparison. And so taking a look at the graph, it says here JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Google Trends Evolution, and you can see that red is Diamond is Unbreakable, blue is Vento Aurora, pretty much part 5, and Stone Ocean, the green one, is part 6. And you can see that on the premiere date, it pretty much for the most part matches up all of them, right? Like Stone Ocean is at the top with all of them, but as it continues and you see the difference with like JoJo's Fridays, you see that after that premiere date, after that first week, it just kind of plummets. And I mean, it's natural just because simply, I don't want to say necessarily that this is like, oh, Netflix is killing the JoJo's hype. I'd more so say it's a different approach of releasing things, and maybe it's not in the long run the more beneficial thing to the IP itself, but ultimately, yeah, if everybody is watching, all the JoJo's fans is watching Stone Ocean day 1, week 1 and whatnot, it's only natural that you're not going to have these gigantic bumps like Diamond is Unbreakable or, Golden Wind or whatnot, because ultimately there's no new episodes. So this is more so, in my opinion, I don't want to say that like Stone Ocean is killing the franchise or Netflix necessarily is killing the franchise. Yes, long term, it's not going to be talked about as much, but ultimately it's going to get that high. So it's kind of like a trade-off. I mean, personally, I gotta just keep it real. For me, I prefer things this way, and I know a lot of JoJo's fans may disagree. They love JoJo's Fridays, but I love being able to just oh, y'all gonna just give me the episodes in one bunch and I just get to marathon like 12 episodes straight? Yeah, I prefer that. I'll keep it real. Like, don't get me wrong, JoJo's Fridays was dope, but I used to wait and let JoJo's build up anyways and then just marathon it. So for me personally, I'm not mad at it, but in terms of it hurting the IP and just in general JoJo's being in the discussion, I can see where some people will be like, oh, come on, fam. Like, I've always noticed when it came to platforms, again, such as Netflix, for example, or whatnot, that they don't do the best in helping an IP, because again, that binge watch drop that they do isn't the best format for a lot of people to keep on, you know, having interest in a show, because you watch a show usually, and then if you marathon it and whatnot, you're on to the next one. So yeah, I'd more so say that this is a testament to the way that Netflix releases things in comparison to the weekly, you know, grind and whatnot. Like, yeah, you're going to keep on having highs. For example, again, look at Diamond Unbreakable just blowing up, hitting the 60 mark, opposed to Stone Ocean on damn near the bottom. But again, that's because majority of JoJo's fans watched it day one, and then the remainder is people rewatching it and people discovering JoJo's. So I feel it's a little bit unfair to say that, hey, it's, you know, downright killing the franchise, but I could definitely see on the long term that Netflix's motto, as much as I love it personally, it doesn't benefit the IP at all. And I felt that way for a long time with a lot of different things. Like, it kind of feels like, yeah, it cuts the conversation short, so to speak, opposed to being able to have each and every week, let's just say every Friday, for people that don't read the manga, like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Here's my theory. Oh my god, taking a more closer, in-depth look into the episode of like, yo, the art and animation from this artist, they did this animated did that. You're not going to have those discussions if you're getting it all in one binge. You're just going to say, oh, so, you know, let's just say Takahashi Nobara, but pretty much this one animator was heavily involved for episodes 1 through 8 and things like that. So it's, I guess, interesting to note. I don't think it's going to have a negative backlash, just because in general, I'm sure Netflix gave David Productions and everybody involved the most heftiest of bags in order to secure the full-on rights to JoJo's. And as far as a fan like myself, I like the binge watch. I love the binge watch, and I'm really loving Stone Ocean in general. So yeah, this is kind of more so a preference thing in my opinion, and also a release thing of like, this is what happens when you drop it in bulk, this is what happens when you release it weekly. But I guess we gotta wait and see. Time will tell what this does for the JoJo's franchise, but I don't know, I love those first 12. Okay people, next up we got the top 50 best-selling manga volumes of the week, again courtesy of Jos_K. Let's take a look. So places 50 through 44, all are Jujutsu Kaisen volumes to start things off. 17,000 volume 5, 17, oh my god. So it looks like about 17 to 18,000 people ran out immediately, again watching Jujutsu Kaisen 0 that week, and bought volumes 1 through 7, because yeah, this is literally volumes 1 through 7. They were like, lucky 7 baby, which I'd imagine probably 1 through 7 leads somewhere close to where season 2 goes. Maybe that's what their idea was, like, oh, I'll get the first and then I'm gonna wait for season 2. That's probably what people's mindsets are, but I just love to see it. I've said it on so many occasions, but I'm not gonna stop saying it. Gege Akutami, secure the bag, you deserve it. Jujutsu Kaisen is phenomenal. But yeah, that's that. Places 43, 42, 41, a lot of, you know, manga that I'm not too familiar with. Then we got places 40 through 31. We got Dr. Stone Volume 24 at 39 with 20,000 this week. Mystery Tolunakari Volume 9. Again, dog, I keep that series keeps on popping up. Like, have y'all noticed? If you watch religiously FORNEVERNEWS, you should be. I'm just saying, subscribe and hit that bell so you could keep on watching. Mystery Tolunakari just keeps on screaming out, something big is happening in that series. FORNEV, why you not checking it out? People that watch FORNEVERNEWS, we should all check it out. I gotta check it out and do a video. Like, yo, I don't know, I'm gonna throw out a random challenge. I never do this, but why not? If this video gets 4,000 likes, I'll do a Mystery Tolunakari video by the end of February. There you go. But yeah, Mystery Tolunakari Volume 7 and 8, and then at number 33, Volume 6 of it as well. Holy cow, why does that at number 34, Domo Otomo, The Complete Works, that shit looks creepy. Then we got places 30 through 21, a whole bunch of Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, places 30 through 24 alone is Jujutsu Kaisen again, Volume 8. And then it looks like, okay, so like the first 18,000 copies was just people that wanted to probably go through roughly maybe a little past season 1, somewhere around there. And then another like 3,000 or 4,000 were like, no, screw that shit, we want more. And it goes all the way up to Volume 15. Yeah, Volume 15 right there. Holy cow, man. With 22,000, yeah, this is nuts. Then more Mystery Tolunakari, what the hell? I gotta check this out. Then Jujutsu Kaisen at number 22 with Volume 9, Jesus. Then we got 20 through 11. I don't know, man. If I named these episodes after something, I would probably call this Forever News episode 208 or some shit and put Mystery Tolunakari, because Jesus Christ. Then more Jujutsu Kaisen, Tokyo Revengers there. Something to break the mold at number 16, volume 25 with 26,000. I keep on saying it. They're not leaving this chart until they hit that milli. 928,000. Not bad at all. In fact, fantastic, to be honest with you. Then let's just move on. Top 10, baby. There we go. Mao by the author of Inuyasha, Ranma 1/2, Maisani Koku, legendary author, been writing manga for like 40 years. Rumiko Takahashi, this with 6 days running, 29,962 copies, so pretty much 30,000 for Mao. I don't know, and I want to ask you guys a question. Do you believe that it's possible for Rumiko Takahashi to ever get another hit as big as Inuyasha? Because since Inuyasha has ended, this is like, I want to say, either the second or third try at creating a new manga that this author has done, and these sales aren't stellar. And I want to say, did Mao have an anime yet? I feel like Mao either had an anime or has an anime announcement on the way. But yeah, I'm happy nevertheless that if you're 30, 40 years into your career and you still selling like 30,000 first week on a manga, you're a legend. Like, I'll always give props to Rumiko Takahashi. That is a legend living. Shout outs to her. Then crawling up yet again at number 6, Jujutsu Kaisen volume 17, 40,000 this week, cracking 2,030,000 with that bastard on the cover. I don't want to spoil whatnot, but yeah. Then we got number 5. This is interesting. I love to see it, I'll be honest with you. Four Knights of the Apocalypse volume 5 with on the cover, baby. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that Arthur? This is crazy, and Seven Deadly Sins fans know what's up, but 63,316 in 7 days. Wait, what? Why it says weekly, but then this must be an error, because then it says the total is 53,000. That's odd. But either way, 53 or 63,000 for this one, considering this is a spin-off sequel to the Seven Deadly Sins, and it's 5 volumes in, still selling pretty decently. That's what's up, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm really interested, man. It's just that I've been biding my time, but eventually I am going to run through all of the volumes that are out right now of Four Knights of the Apocalypse, because yeah, where it left off or where it started, and I read the first chapter, I was like, this looks like some gas, and I keep hearing nothing but phenomenal things. And baby, we got Arthur on the cover. What is going on? Oh my god, I gotta read this shit. I ain't gonna lie, like, I'm low-key hype Arthur, baby. Then number 4, Shangri-La Frontier, volume 7, 55,000. Komi Can't Communicate at number 3, volume 24, 60,000 in 6 days. I actually just finally started on watching that last night. I watched episode 1 over on Netflix, and it was alright. It was something a little bit different. I like it that it like blends comedy with like seriousness, and it was cool for the first episode. A little interesting, quirky series, I guess you would say. I gotta watch more, but that's dope. And considering I want to say they already announced that Komi is ending soon, so yeah. Number 2, A Couple of Cuckoos, volume 10, 70,000. This feels like a low week, to be honest with you. Not a single volume, because number 1 is Jujutsu Kaisen volume 18 with 77,793. Not a single series cracked 100,000 sales. It's either because like, yo, we're early in the year, or there's another publication shortage. Something is afoot that none of these series cracked 100K. That's kind of odd. And I mean, a lot of these are new releases too. Like, you know, Komi Can't Communicate has been on the market only 6 days. Four Knights of the Apocalypse. So yeah, really, really strange stuff, to say the least. Also to note, because I just kind of realized myself, it seems as though Boruto and Black Clover have both fallen off the top 50 best-selling manga chart already on their 3rd week, if I'm not mistaken. That's not great. That's not great at all. Now, the sales could probably be equivalent to something similar to what they did in their last run, but goddamn, I really always look at it like this, right? You're doing very well if your first 4 weeks, your first month out, you're still in the top 50 best-selling manga. If you're doing that, you're probably doing all right. You're doing either on course or just in general, you're looking good out here. So if you're by week 3 falling off the charts, because we just again had a Black Clover volume and as well a Boruto volume, and after their 2nd weeks, both of them are off the chart, doesn't look the greatest, especially considering those are 2 very big titles, regardless of what. Boruto is a spinoff of Naruto, and Black Clover was going to be the next Naruto, was marketed that way, and just in general, it's a very popular shonen. So yeah, that's something to note as well. But yeah, people, those were the top 50 best-selling manga volumes of the week. Light week, I ain't gonna lie. Like, not a single series cracking 100K. Crazy. Okay, people, next up, some of y'all may know I recently talked about Arcane because I watched it and I marathoned it and I absolutely freaking loved it. Amazing show. I was just blown away. I couldn't believe how much I really loved and adored that show. Well, it was, I want to say, probably maybe a week or two ago at this particular point, the head runner, Jason Demarco, or former head runner of Toonami, Adult Swim, all of that good stuff, he had recently said some comments about Arcane, essentially saying like, yo, that's an exception, like they had 6 years to make it, you know, there's just a big difference between Arcane and everything else that's going on in the animation world. And I didn't really see it as like disparaging per se. Maybe you could argue that, yo, Arcane is a pretty freaking big deal, so you shouldn't like sideline it the way he did, but ultimately it didn't feel disrespectful. It didn't feel like there was any malice behind his words or whatnot, but pretty much some of the people behind Arcane actually felt a certain way and responded to his comments of what he had to say about Arcane. And basically they said the following: for the sake of the conversation, it is important to contextualize just how risk averse the entertainment world is. There's a ridiculous amount of talent in the animation space and no shortage of inspiration for compelling new stories and fascinating characters that deserve their own franchise, but people don't get the support to break the boundaries of what's been established. The entertainment world rarely invests in vision or deductive potential. It mostly relies on direct competitors and data. For a big budget animated series, there were no competition. There were zero references. That's precisely why it is important to fight for more ambitious opportunities. It's necessary to show the industry that so much more can be done in the animation space. So yes, Jason makes a lot of valid points, again referring to Jason Demarco. Just spend a day on ArtStation or whatever art platform and marvel at how much awesome shit there is that makes you think, God, I wish I could see this as an animated story. Chances are it ain't gonna happen because people aren't willing to take a bet, and that sucks. It's unfortunate that there are some voices who feel compelled to diminish the impossible achievement that Arcane is, so they definitely felt like Jason Demarco was diminishing and, you know, discrediting what they've done. Anyone who has worked long enough in the creative space knows that neither money nor time equal quality. We've all seen sufficient evidence of that in the big budget entertainment world. Nor can most people appreciate just how hard people had to fight and work to make Arcane happen. Yes, Arcane is a very expensive as an animated series, as a show that aims for feature film visuals that hold up on the big screen and storytelling that is as complex as our favorite big budget live action shows. Our budget and our schedules had to be incredibly lean, a fraction of the per minute production cost of the big animation studios with a lot less time. Everything is relative. I don't know if Arcane is going to make a difference in the long run, but hey, I sure hope so, because I want to see more money being spent on animation. I don't think the status quo is healthy, nor does it realize the potential of the stories that can be told. Damn, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of gotta agree on a lot of things except the stuff really about, because initially Jason Demarco, he wasn't trying to diminish Arcane. He was just saying it's an exception. Remember, I believe I even spoke about it on FORNEVERNEWS, that basically it was like, hey, they don't got to worry about a return on investment because it's going on Netflix. The only thing they got to worry about is subscriptions and whatnot. It's not like advertisements and whatnot. Like, pretty much, he wasn't saying like Arcane is bad or, hey, it's an exception, they had so much time. He was just saying like, yo, it's an exception. It's not something like to diminish it, but hey, they had a lot of time to work on it and they got to do it on Netflix, that Netflix doesn't have as strict guidelines and all that stuff like cable. And Demarco replied with, saw this out in the wild. Guess one of the creators of Arcane responded to my post about the show. Just want to say he's right, and I promise I don't feel compelled to diminish the show's achievement. I've watched it twice already. I'm a big fan. It just can't be compared to anime. That was another thing that he did say in terms of you can't compare this to anime because anime, they have smaller budgets, they got a faster turnaround, all of that stuff. This is more of a function of the discussion of Arcane and its creation story being generally applied to the rest of animation in a way that is poorly researched. Nothing I said about the show is intended to imply it's anything less than a miracle. Congrats to all involved. So shout out to Jason DeMarco. Yeah, I kind of agree with both. First of all, Arcane was something that they did an incredible and amazing job with. Regardless of how much money you throw at something, it doesn't mean it's going to come out good. And Arcane was levels above great. So shout outs to that. But also Jason was just stating that you can't compare that, you know, they get shoestring budgets for anime with quick, very, very fast, lightning turnaround times to make it, compared to Arcane that is like, oh nuts, here's a bunch of money, and it's just that they happen to have some passionate and talented people to create that. And either way, shout outs to Arcane. I really, really love that show. You should go watch my video on it. pretty awesome stuff. Okay, people, next up, we got an update on the creator of Katekyo Hitman Reborn and the status of their latest series. Now, in case you don't know, the creator of Katekyo Hitman Reborn, it was a very big series for starters, because there might be some people at this particular point that don't know the massive success that was Katekyo Hitman Reborn. It had like a 200 plus episode anime that ran for a few years, and it had hundreds of chapters. Like, it was a pretty freaking big deal in its day. That's why till this day people still refer to her as the creator of Katekyo Hitman Reborn, Akira Amano. Well, since Hitman Reborn ended, she had another series that was in, I want to say it was like a quarterly release of some sort. It was like a publication that dropped every quarter or every other month, something like that. It was really bizarre, and honestly, I remember it actually got an anime adaptation, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that one, to say the least. However, recently, I want to say it was either last year or the year before that, the Katekyo Hitman Reborn creator Akira Amano had another series that dropped, and it was called Ran Kamonohashi Deranged Detective. And according to this, it says Ran Kamonohashi Deranged Detective has reached 300,000 copies in circulation, and I'll be honest with you, that's not the greatest sales. I think those are pretty decent sales for the most part, considering I don't even really hear anybody talking about this one, and I don't know what the schedule is like, but I know it's been going on for a decent amount of time, and I just honestly wish that the creator of Hitman Reborn would go back to either being in Weekly Shonen Jump or being in a major publication. Maybe you're done with telling shonen stories, something like that, you want to go to a different league, go to Weekly Young Jump so you could do some seinen stuff or whatnot. But either way, I wish she was just being promoted more, because honestly, I only had checked out the first chapter, if I'm not mistaken, of this, and I mainly was like, yo, let's see what Akira Amano's cooking with. And for the most part, I walked away from it like, hey, some of the characters look like Reborn characters, so that's kind of cool. But I really wasn't, for the most part, like hooked per se with the first chapter, but I might give it another go at some given point, depending on if it kind of crosses my desk. And 300,000 copies is alright. It just doesn't feel like up to this point, at the very least, Akira Amano has had any luck with even remotely getting close to the success of Katekyo Hitman Reborn, considering that was a pretty big deal back in the day. Like, I really loved Hitman Reborn. I mean, it started off a little bizarre with the daily life arc that was kind of comedic, but yeah, it was pretty badass. But yeah, they got a new series, in case you didn't know. Maybe you might want to check it out. Akira Amano's art style is always very significant and easy to spot. But yeah, Ran Kamonohashi Deranged Detective, 300,000 copies in circulation. Next up, this one is a very, very massive and very, very big deal, because a massive lawsuit is going down, and I feel like this is one of the ways that now a lot of these industries are looking at, well, okay, we've tried this war on piracy ever since the internet really started taking off. Like, I want to say it started getting like fast enough speeds where piracy became like an actual issue. I believe it was around the time like DSL, if I'm not mistaken, started becoming a thing over here in the States, that like piracy became a thing. And initially, one of the big ways that they were attacking piracy was going straight after the people that pirated. Like, you would get a letter in the mail saying, hey, we know you pirated, or they would try to sue the actual people themselves. Well, honestly, the fight against piracy, they failed. Like, we're in 2022, and while piracy, they found ways to make people pirate way less, like all of these streaming services for very cheap prices and whatnot. That was one very well done, effective way of making people look, well, do I really want to go through all the trouble pirating when I could just pay this fee and watch this or read this at, you know, the earliest convenience and whatnot, and highest quality and all that jazz. So that was a job well done. However, the piracy still isn't completely slayed as of yet, and yeah, they're taking extra measures, and now they are suing places that actually even host the piracy to begin with, which probably should have been one of the measures that they took to begin with. Maybe they did try, I don't know, but let's read. According to Asahi and Kyoto, Japanese publishers Kodansha, Shueisha, and Shogakukan, the three major giants. In case you don't know, think Shueisha, Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto. Think Kodansha, Fairy Tail, Tokyo Revengers, Attack on Titan. Think Shogakukan, Detective Conan, Magi. Like, these are the juggernaut publishers of all realms. They're coming together, and Kadokawa, they will be suing Cloudflare for 400 million yen for offering data services to manga piracy sites. The Asahi Shimbun paper and the news agency Kyodo reported on Sunday that the Japanese publishers Kodansha, Shueisha, Shogakukan, and Kadokawa have decided to file a lawsuit against the American internet infrastructure company Cloudflare early next month in the Tokyo District Court. The lawsuit will allege that Cloudflare distributes data from manga piracy sites that infringe on the publisher's copyrights, and it will seek an injunction and about 400 million yen, roughly $3.5 million, which is pretty cheap, to be honest with you, considering they've made millions if that's the case, in compensation for damages. According to Asahi and Kyoto sources, Cloudflare has contracts with major piracy sites to distribute data from services within Japan. Even though the piracy sites administrators are located overseas, the sites allegedly distribute about 4,000 titles, including such popular ones as One Piece, Attack on Titan, and Kingdom, and receive over 300 million accesses a month. Cloudflare told Asahi, "We are not directly involved in copyright infringement. Our company is not the root of the problem." But if you know this is pirating copyrighted material and is offering it up, you're hosting it, you're still a part of the problem, though. Like, yeah. Among other services, Cloudflare can act as an intermediary between a server and its end users, providing content even when the original server is facing connection issues or distributed denial of service attacks. The Japanese language manga piracy site Mangamura became inaccessible in April 2018 after Japanese publishers had filed criminal complaints against the website from summer to fall of 2017. Japanese authorities confirmed in May 2018 that they were actively investigating Mangamura. Police have since made several arrests related to uploading unauthorized images on the site. The publisher's lawyers then filed a motion with the Tokyo District Court in August 2018 requesting Cloudflare to stop hosting content for several piracy websites. According to the motion, the manga piracy websites for which Cloudflare have offered services included Hoshi no Romi, an apparent Mangamura successor website. A Shupun Koyo Center announced in February 2020 that these publishers had reached a settlement with Cloudflare in June 2019, and Cloudflare agreed to stop catching content on its Japanese servers from specified piracy websites if the Tokyo District Court deems that the sites are infringing on copyrights. The same four publishers then filed a lawsuit in New York on September 2019 against the unnamed administrators of website Hoshi no Romi and 3 other United States hosted websites. The plaintiffs claims that the sites hosted over 93,000 scanned volumes of manga. Japanese publisher Take Shobo and a male manga creator filed a lawsuit with the Tokyo District Court against Cloudflare in January 2020. Damn, they've been hit after hit. The lawsuit alleged that Cloudflare was complicit in copyright infringement by offering its services to manga piracy sites. In November 2021, a California district court allowed Shueisha to request Google and other internet firms to disclose the operators of Japanese language pirate website Manga Bank. Shueisha had previously subpoenaed Cloudflare under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act to discover Manga Bank's domains. And yeah, I know that was a lot. Shout outs to Anime News Network for that extensive coverage of information. Really dope stuff there. But yo, they coming for the pirates, I ain't gonna lie. And it's gonna be a never-ending battle because, like, okay, Cloudflare will go down, and 3 dudes in Michigan, 3 dudes in Colorado, 3 dudes in Utah are just gonna be like, oh, they doing that? Grab every title that they have over there on Manga Bank, every title that they have over there. Let's set up servers. We're going to do it. We're going to be more slick. We're going to get more proxies, yada, yada, yada. And then it'll just continue from there. Like, the battle against piracy, I don't know how you end it. I think one of the best things that happened to change the landscape as a whole of manga and anime and just in general services that were previously rampant with piracy is what they've been doing with, like, the Shonen Jump app and the Manga Plus app and, you know, Funimation, Crunchyroll, Netflix getting anime. Like, all of these ways have massively cut down on piracy. Majority of people I know don't even pirate anymore because they don't need to. So, yeah, there's still piracy out there going rampant, but I remember it was, I want to say around that year, 2017, 2018, when all the publishers got together and they even had that art of, like, Conan and Naruto and everybody together trying to stop piracy, and it looks like they've been at Cloudflare's neck. RIP Cloudflare, because their bank, their wallet must be getting drained between lawyer fees and settlements and everything. Shit is bad. But then again, God knows how much money they've been making off these piracy websites all over the world, so yeah. Okay, people, next up, I found this story to be just kind of interesting. I'm not really that big into wrestling anymore, but whenever I see an homage, especially on a big stage, to something that I love, I always want to point it out. And it says here, Zelina Vega is Madara Uchiha in the Royal Rumble. She came out, I guess, dressed as Madara Uchiha, and I'm not going to lie, I would love to make her activate that Sharingan, baby. Like, dog, I'm gonna have to take that fan and start fanning like, yo, babe, where you been all my life? Put me on the yo moon eye plan, shorty. I'm just saying, oh my God. If you are listening, please come on the platform. Let's have an interview. Let's talk a little bit about your love for Madara Uchiha and Naruto in general. But shorty pulled it off very, very well. If there was ever a female looking Uchiha in live action, I gotta give it to shorty. She did it well. Y'all know I love Madara Uchiha, and yeah, the Royal Rumble was probably very hefty. Shorty was probably dropping meteors on these bitches out here, dog. Like, yo, let's go. Really dope stuff. Shout out to Zelina Vega with her Madara Uchiha cosplay at Royal Rumble, baby. Anime has just taken it so far. You never thought anime would take it this far. Okay, people, and last story of the episode, of course, courtesy of these people, Jose_Ke and WSS Talk Back for the translations. For starters, we got Ken Wakui, author of Tokyo Revengers. I've been taking the body maintenance stuff manufactured by Otsuka, and it tastes better the more I use it. I can feel it during my workouts, and I love it. Shout outs to Ken Wakui, keeping healthy as well as making awesome, huge, and amazing manga. We got, which I'm going to start covering as well in the weekly Shonen Magazine author comments, Yoshitoki Oima. In case you don't know, that's the author of To Your Eternity. In case you don't know, To Your Eternity is fire. They said Encanto was incredible. I'm imagining that's some sort of show. I feel like I've seen the title somewhere before, but just shout outs to them. From now on, when we do the weekly Shonen Magazine author comments, we're covering you too, dog. I don't know why it took me this long, but yeah, we here. Then we got George Morikawa, author of Hajime no Ippo. I can read the exploits of the greats over and over again. I need to check out what that is. Then we got Hiromashima, author of Eden Zero, Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, Raid Master. There are now automatic vending machines supplied with Eden's Zero. If you see one, check it out. I wish, man. That's one of the awesome things about being in Japan, the native country to anime and manga, that you will see a machine that has like Eden Zero. So like we're inching towards there, but there's still other countries that are way more into anime and manga than even us. Like France's manga market makes our manga market look like a baby. It look like Rugrats out here. We got Atsushi Okubo, author of Fire Force. I'm addicted to the sequel series to Karate Kid Cobra Kai. Seems the actors are still in their roles too. Johnny and Daniel are old guys now even. I think I can easily recommend it as I love all the characters. My nephew loved Cobra Kai. He actually started picking up martial arts classes and whatnot because of Cobra Kai. Shout outs to Cobra Kai and shout outs to Atsushi Okubo. And then lastly, we got Nakaba Suzuki, author of The Seven Deadly Sins and Four Nights of the Apocalypse. Sometimes my wife will bug me to draw an illustration and post it on the blog. It gets updated at glacier speeds. That's dope that you got a wife that is really interested in your work like that. And yeah, people, those were the weekly Shonen Magazine author comments. Like I said, more authors being added to Your Eternity's author is going to be in the rotation now. And yeah, interesting stuff. But yeah, people, those are all the stories we have for today's episode. Curious what you guys think. Most important story, favorite story, things that I didn't cover that you want me to cover in the future. Let me know. That's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace, and you guys just watched another episode of ForneverNews. Have an awesome day, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, baby. Let's do it.
So just go to